To ongoing corruption and unmet expectations among many Iraqis.
The BBC's Jacob Evans. Surveys have Chinese factory activity expanding for the first time in 8 months this month as orders picked up ahead of the holidays and builders rushed to finish projects. The official Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing rose to 50.1 this month. News and analysis at townhall.com. The heavens will put on quite a show as the new year gets underway.
The year's first supermoon and meteor shower will compete for dominance in January skies. The quadrantid meteor shower peaks Friday night into Saturday morning, but fewer than 10 meteors will be visible per hour due to light from Saturday's supermoon. To spot the quadratids, venture out in the early evening away from city lights and glimpse the fireballs before the moon crashes the party. Wait for your eyes to get used to the darkness and don't look at your phone. Saturday's supermoon ends a 4-month streak that started in October. There won't be another until the end of 2026. Keith Peters, Washington.
Bulgaria formally adopts the euro on New Year's Day. The East European nation, population 6.4 million, becomes the 21st country to use the euro, abandoning its own currency, the value of which was tied to the euro in 1999 anyway. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It is the final day of 2025. It is Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. Now, a programming note, we will not be here tomorrow for the first day of 2026, the 250th anniversary of the creation of the United States of America, nor will we be here Friday, but we will be here back live and in living color on Monday, January 5th, 2026. It's time for the Morning Rundown, which we do every weekday at this time, brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store, located just a couple miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. Number one, the Minnesota Somali fraud scandal continues to blow up big time. Number two, the Federal Department of Health and Human Services has suspended all child care payments to the state of Minnesota, because they get the money and then they disperse it, apparently fraudulently in many cases. That announcement was made last night. We've got that one for you. It's like $158 million annually. Number three, our friend Braden Busek, who's now just stepped into the job of U.S. Attorney for Middle Tennessee, is punching back against the phony claims of the well-paid big law defense attorneys for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Yeah, he's saying all the stuff you're talking about is ridiculous and filled with irony. So look forward to him basically getting these phony charges of vindictive prosecution dismissed. Number four, by the way, before I get to that, we'll be joined at the bottom of this hour by the Dow Prize Award winning journalist here with the Tennessee Star, Tom Pappert. He'll give us more on that. Number four, our friend Rosemary Jenks, an expert on immigration, will be here with us in hour three. And Rosemary is head of the Immigration Accountability Project. She was on Steve Bannon's program yesterday, where Steve called for a 10-year pause on all immigration to the United States. She agrees with that. We'll talk with her about that here in hour number two. Number five, in hour number three, we'll be visited by the very best Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash. And I don't want to give it away too much, but we're going to talk about the new name for the NFL Minnesota Vikings, because, it used to be a land of Scandinavian heritage. Now what dominates it? Fraud, Somali fraud, and left-wing Democrats. And so, do I need to give you a little bit of a hint? There are many, many new nicknames suggested for the Minnesota Vikings. If you are of a certain age, I'll give you one hint. Here's the one that I like the best. The Minnesota Purple People Cheaters. You like that? Yeah. You know why that comes from? Because their defensive linemen in the 1970s were so great, they were called the Purple People Eaters. For those of you of a certain age, Purple People Cheaters. But there's a lot of other names. We'll talk with Sean about that and more. Number 6, we've got the clip of the great official guest host of the program, Aaron Host, E.J. Host, a former Minnesota resident, in which she identified the 5 state agencies, all supervised by Governor Tim Walz, that were well aware for years of reports of Somali fraud and did nothing about it. They need to be raided and investigated today. Number 7, we've got a lot more to cover with Sean. In particular, we'll learn about what his plans are to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States, which is going to include, by the way, this is a little hint, we've got a major organization that's going to be co-sponsoring our National Constitution Bee. Who is it? You'll have to wait until next year to find out. So there you go. There's a morning rundown for Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. Brought to you, as always, by our friends at the Glock Store. I called to confirm this sale, this Christmas sale, still going on. I talk about Lenny McGill and the Glock Store. They are the folks that provide the wonderful gifts for all of your Second Amendment guys and gals out there. It's never too early to start thinking about it, and it's never too early to save, especially when you visit GlockStore.com. I confirmed yesterday their Glock Store Christmas sale is still going on. They have incredible discounts on virtually everything they sell. I'm talking huge discounts on optics, barrels and compensators, magazines and extensions, extended controls, slide cuts, and so much more, including, this is one of my favorites, incredible deals on factory rebuilt Glocks. Hey, if you can't tell the difference, why pay the difference? And don't forget to drop in a Vortex Red Dot Reindeer sticker or patch, or a Vortex Tactical Christmas Tree sticker or patch for a chance to win either a Glock 47 or Glock 45, nicely equipped with a Vortex Red Dot optic. It really couldn't be any easier to get the best deals of the year on the best gear in the country. That's the huge Christmas sale still going on at the Glock Store, GlockStore.com. All right, let's get right to it. That's the morning rundown. Now for the news. Let's take a look at the big news last night. The Department of Health and Human Services is suspending child care payments to the state of Minnesota because of the fraud. Clip 1. Let's play this right now.
Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF child care payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I have just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you. Let me be crystal clear. ACF expects every state to uphold the highest standards of oversight, monitoring, and accountability for federal dollars. Minnesota is no exception.
We're committed to holding bad actors accountable. Regardless of rank or office, anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we talked about we'll play this clip in hour 3, but E.J. Haast, who's an official guest host of this program, was here yesterday. She's here every Tuesday and Friday, and she talked about, as a 12-year resident of the state of Minnesota, she identified the 5 state agencies, all under the direction of Governor Tim Walz, who were well aware of reports of fraud, huge fraud, from 2018 on, from the very beginning of the Walz administration. And they did nothing. Raid their offices and investigate them today, she says. I agree with that. Hey, we'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, the website TennesseeStar.com.
Say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Ready to turn your idle equipment into cash? Purple Wave Auction is your solution. We specialize in no-reserve online auctions, bringing nationwide buyers to your doorstep. From excavators to dozers, we'll market your assets to a vast audience of eager buyers. No hauling required. We photograph and list your equipment where it sits. Experience our transparent and simple process with expert support. Join successful sellers who trust Purple Wave. Visit purplewave.com today to learn how easy selling can be.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted survival food company, wishes you and yours a very Merry Christmas. As our gift to you, we've got an amazing deal on survival food kits. Buy one, gift two. That's right, for a limited time, when you grab our best-selling 4-week emergency food kit, we'll include 2 one-week kits free to hand out as gifts. That's 4 weeks of emergency food for you, and 2 ready-to-give gifts for anyone on your list who's into preparedness, or anyone who needs a nudge in that direction. But they're only available for a limited time. Grab yours at mypatriotsupply.com and give the gift of food security this Christmas. With 2,000 calories per day, 16 delicious meal and snack varieties, and up to 25-year shelf life, it's no wonder our 4-week food kit is the best-selling emergency food supply of all time. But the buy one, gift two Christmas special won't last long. So claim yours now at mypatriotsupply.com. That's mypatriotsupply.com.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We will get to our Somali Minnesota fraud tapes here in just a minute, but we're just having too much fun with this. Yesterday I put out this little tweet. In light of the massive Somali fraud investigation, the NFL's Minnesota Vikings may decide to change their name from Vikings to, fill in the blank, A, the Minnesota A Fraudsters, B, Mullahs, Minnesota Soy Boys, the Minnesota Ungratefuls, the Minnesota Conmen, the Failed Staters. One of the popular ones is the Minnesota Pirates, and actually a derivation of that, the Minnesota Welfare Pirates. I kind of like that, right? Or the Minnesota Fraud Kings. Anyways, we're going to keep this going all day. And we'll talk with Sean Farash in hour 3 about it. By the way, if you want to call in with your suggestion for the new name for the Minnesota Vikings based on this, we've got a whole bunch of other ones here that are really, really good. Just give us a call, 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. We'll take your calls at the new name for the proposed name for the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, I like the Purple People Cheaters. That's a good one. A little bit long, but it is, alliterative to a degree. And then, but I like the Welfare Pirates, Minnesota Welfare Pirates. That's pretty good. 615-814-2848. Okay, back. This is a turning point back, by the way. You see these every now and then. All of a sudden, we're realizing for a full decade, there's a huge fraud going on. And I saw Stephen Miller put out a clip about this. It was very short. He said, for the past decade, what we've seen is the fraudulent con men who are putting together, stealing money from Americans and giving it to non-Americans, and then giving it back to the Democratic Party. That's the game. What does Stephen K. Bannon have to say about this? What should be the consequences? I know. You know. Clip 2. Let's see what Stephen K. Bannon says.
This has to be solved. And there's only one way to solve it. You got to shut down the money immediately. You got to perp walk the politicians, the administrators, and the actual recipients themselves that did this. And then there have to be mass deportation to get these people out of here. That just has to be. And it's going to be a fight. You just see right there. Whether it's the mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, or whether it's Waltz in Minnesota, or the Lieutenant Governor Flanagan, who I think was a Catholic or was a Catholic in her job. This is a fight, and they're dug in because without these illegal amnesty, refugee, illegal aliens, call them what you will, they can't win elections. They cannot win elections because they don't have the votes. They have to import these votes. So this is going to be the fight right now to make sure that we can lance the boil.
Yeah, you want to talk about that. We're not going to play this clip right now, but we do have. In Minnesota, you can vote if you vouch for people. And what they do is they trot in these Somalis who can't speak English, and one person can vouch for 8 people. That's what they do. That's how they win elections there, fraudulently. All right, Congress is getting into this. Andy Biggs, congressman from Arizona, I think he's on the Oversight Committee. He said, we're going to call in Tim Waltz to testify before us. Let's play this. Clip 4, Andy Biggs.
And let me just tell you that the Oversight Committee, we're going to have to bring in Tim Waltz. We're going to have to bring in some of his adjutants and have them come in and sit down and answer questions. We're going to have to get hold of records that they have. And we're going to have to do what the Oversight Committee does. We conduct these investigations, and then we make our referrals over to the executive branch because they have police power. And I don't want to sound prejudiced or biased at the start of this thing, but I mean, this is incredible. And to watch that compelling video that Nick put out there, Nick Shirley, I find myself saying, wait a second. I mean, he's going there, and there's no kids there. There's nobody there, and he's interviewing people, and they're saying, "No, I haven't seen kids here in 8 years." And I will just tell you, Edie, this is when they say it's the tip of the iceberg. This is only one program, and it's in one state, and they're talking billions of dollars. And I invite Nick to come to my state because I can tell you this. A report came out a few months ago saying $1.2 billion here has been wasted. Another report says up to $6 billion in Medicaid fraud. You know, this is the type of thing where you just say, that is why you get yourself into massive national debt. You have a structural deficit that can't be closed. It's because people are grifting so much everywhere.
Yeah, and let me elaborate on that. So the average American family, you have a wife and husband working. They're working real hard. They're paying high taxes. And, you know, they have enough maybe to buy a house and take care of their kids, but not a lot of discretionary income. Meanwhile, what are they supporting? They're supporting all of these legal and illegal aliens, legal migrants and illegal migrants from third world blank holes. Many of them have been Muslim-dominant countries. And they're just sitting around, taking your money and spending it on, back in Somalia and back in whatever blank hole they came from. This is very, very, this is very upsetting to the good-working, hard-working American citizens, especially when you look at their kids. Kids today, they're having a hard time making ends meet, working hard, working several jobs. Their health care costs are going up because of the disaster that's Obamacare. They can't save money to buy a house. Where's the American dream for our kids? Meanwhile, these fraudsters are stealing the money and giving it to the Democratic Party. Not good at all. Here is, back to the perp walk. Remember the guy Dave who was working with Nick Shirley in that clip, that viral clip that now has, over 110 million views that Nick Shirley did, 42 minutes long. Clip 7, here's Dave, the Minnesotan, talking about the criminal complaint filed against Tim Walz.
I filed a formal criminal complaint against Tim Walz for violating Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. So there's an investigation ongoing, and I think Tim's going to have a bad day, and he deserves it because he allowed this fraud, because he wanted the voting block that the Somalis represent, because they all vote in a block, and it's 100,000, 150,000, who knows how many. But it's so bad now that when we go to a facility, they're already screaming, Nick Shirley, Nick Shirley, Nick Shirley.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this. So the one of the learning centers that he went to, actually, that's fraudulent, allegedly, is they couldn't even spell learning. They called it leering, the Quality Leering Center. He's wearing a T-shirt there. Call 1-800-FRAUD if you have any information to report. Back to our renaming of the Minnesota Vikings. I forgot to mention this. So we have one person that said they should be the Minnesota Leerings. I kind of like that. We have and then another person just texted in the Minnesota Grifters. Okay, not bad. Okay, here's a problem. Tom Emmer, who's now the high up as a member of Congress, Republican, will play this clip 3. Back in 2015, he was confronted in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I wrote about a lot of the Somali crime in St. Cloud and how they took over that city. And he wasn't listening to his constituents who said, hey, we got a problem here. Let's play this clip right now. Clip 3.
Bobby told me he started freaking out about this exactly 1 year ago. It was in July of 2015 at a town hall meeting in St. Cloud.
I wish all of you guys would give him a big hand here at ACES.
This is Bobby's local congressman, Tom Emmer. They're at the ACES bar in downtown St. Cloud. The room is packed. People are squished in around the bar. This is one of many town halls Emmer does regularly all over the district. And it's going normally, a little awkwardly, till this guy says, I think most of us are here to find out how you feel about assimilation of immigrants. Assimilation of immigrants. The congressman is confused, so the questioner clarifies.
We did not ask for those Somalis. Nobody asked us if we in St. Cloud want those Somalis.
and we understand that social groups like the Lutheran Social Service and the Catholic Charities, they're dumping them in areas like St. Cloud. Okay, and so the question is, how many more are coming? We didn't ask for these people. Everybody that you read about is talking about this. So that is a main issue in this city. There is no control. The people have no control over any immigration. The mayor doesn't. I don't know.
Congressman Emmer is like, what are you even talking about? If someone's here legally, you don't get a say in whether they come into your city. And he fires a warning shot at the implicit racism here against Somalis, as if to say, don't go further down this road, you guys.
And if you're asking me how I feel about immigrant populations who are in this country legally and who are actually trying to find a better way for themselves and their families, I support it wholeheartedly.
Okay, so that was Emmer in 2015. He missed the boat. He was totally wrong about this. And by the way, these are not immigrants like the Germans or Irish that came in the turn of the century who got jobs and weren't on welfare. They're 80% of them on welfare. They turned St. Cloud, Minnesota, into a third world hellhole, and they turned Minneapolis into a third world hellhole. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and Tom Hammer now is complaining about it. Hey, we'll have more when we come back. Tom Pappert, Braden Bushek, new U.S. Attorney in Middle Tennessee, punching back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
What if you had a plan to build income outside your job? At Lifestyles Unlimited, you'll learn how people are investing in real estate to grow their income and make smarter financial choices one property at a time. Right now, join us for just $297. That's a savings of $443 off our real estate education program. Text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges. No charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It's the very last day of 2025. Tomorrow will be 2026. It will be the 250th birthday of the United States of America. Well, technically, we got to wait till the 4th of July, but I'm going to start celebrating it tomorrow. Joining us in celebration of America right now, the Dow Prize Award winner for the best local journalism in America, Mr. Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
Well, with regards to your story, I'm going to make a slight change in an old saying. There's a new sheriff in town. Oh, wait. There's a new U.S. attorney for Middle Tennessee. His name is Braden Busek. And he is punching back at the out-of-control big law attorneys who are providing, quote, excessive due process to the illegal alien, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, with a final deportation order, who has been charged with human smuggling by the federal government. Tell us what happened with the new sheriff, the new U.S. attorney in town here in Middle Tennessee, Braden Busek.
Michael, we talked about this just in the last week or so. He was confirmed earlier this month, and now Braden Busek has filed his first filing in the case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the human smuggling case out of the Middle District of Tennessee. And let me tell you, I started reading this filing because I read every filing on this case, all three of the Kilmar Abrego Garcia cases at this point, and they are bringing up the statements by Kilmar, his advocates, and his lawyers on cable and in a press conference last week. They're talking about some of the questionable filings made by the defense attorneys over the last month. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, this filing, Michael, is a lot more aggressive than we're used to from the Middle District of Tennessee, who, frankly, they just had an acting U.S. attorney, seemed like a great guy, but he was up against these massive, well-funded legal firms. We're talking like Hecker Fink, the people who were paid to go after Trump using E. Jean Carroll civil claims, the people who represent President Joe Biden personally. So they were up against some big dog lawyers, and now Braden Busek is there. He has filed this filing. I saw his name at the bottom of the document, and he started out by pointing out that Kilmar Abrego Garcia has asked for sanctions against the Trump administration because of a Customs and Border Protection agent going on Fox News and barely mentioning Abrego Garcia, while Abrego Garcia himself has gone on national news via his press conference to disparage the Trump administration. And his lawyer, Simon Sandoval Moshenberg of the Murray Osorio firm in Maryland, has gone on national news, done major interviews saying the Trump administration needs to face consequences for this. So I thought that was a quite compelling thing to bring up to Waverly Crenshaw, who apparently is totally unaware of what's going on with Abrego Garcia throughout the country. But then, more critically, Braden Busek caught a troubling development in the filings by Abrego Garcia's attorneys. Earlier this month, they, according to Busek, submitted a filing that contained a portion of a sealed order from Judge Waverly Crenshaw, the Obama-appointed judge on the case. So they essentially leaked a portion of a sealed order. They got called out on it. They created an amended order that redacted this portion of what the judge wrote that was never supposed to be public. But then Michael, they didn't strike their incorrect filing for another 2 days. So Braden Busek says they are playing fast and loose with the law and with the rules of the court, and it is no time. They are in no position to ask for sanctions against the Trump administration. It was a very interesting and let's say, fun to read filing.
Now, let's just go back in history on this issue of sealed documents in a courtroom, right? If you release sealed documents in a courtroom, I think you could be charged with contempt of court. When that claim was falsely made against me, I spent a full day defending myself with a very good and very expensive attorney against those charges here in Chancery Court in Middle Tennessee. It seems to me turnabout's fair play. Why aren't these big law attorneys facing that? I think the possibility of something like that is what the new sheriff in town, the new U.S. attorney from Middle Tennessee, Braden Busek, is not specifically explicitly saying, but he's hinting at something like that. It seems to me. Your thoughts, Tom Pappert?
I think that's right, but what I think this really does is Busek is showing us a real double standard here, because this judge is very interested, just on the ball when it comes to anything about the Trump administration allegedly breaking the local rules of his court. That's what this sanction is about. That's why he gagged the Trump administration back in October. But unlike your judge, who seemed to really have it in for conservative media and wanted to put you in contempt of court as a result, this judge seems to be, in my opinion, and as seems to be suggested by Busek, this judge, Waverly Crenshaw, seems to be ignoring anything that Abrego Garcia's attorneys does while he keeps a magnifying glass on the DOJ.
Yeah, it seems to be, you want to talk about fairness or lack thereof, all of the litigation surrounding Kilmar Abrego Garcia illustrates the ridiculous unfairness of the American legal system as it exists today, where they're giving all of these excessive due process protections to an illegal alien with a final deportation order who has been charged with human smuggling. That's the one that this legal system is protecting. That's the one that we estimate now is $12 million, probably going on $13 million in legal fees by all these big law firms. Meanwhile, just as an aside, as a contrast, Derek Chauvin, right, who was had all sorts of due process rights denied, now is in a federal prison. How many attorneys does he have right now? One. And it's not a $3,000 an hour attorney, right, as he appeals his case. Now, back to the arguments made that apparently Judge Waverly Crenshaw in Middle Tennessee has given some level of consideration for. They're saying, the acting local attorney here is not the one who filed the charges. He talked to the main justice at the Department of Justice. Now, our buddy Mike Davis, you saw the tweet that he put out, Article 3 Project, said, and ... I mean, in any prosecution made by a U.S. attorney, there is, dialogue that goes between main justice and the local person. And by the way, do you think there's any thought that U.S. attorney now, Braden Busek, would blanch or shy away from making charges that are very legitimate against an alleged human smuggler? Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
No, the entire thing is a farce. I can't believe, again, this is just an example of Crenshaw's absurd left-wing bias. He's not as much of an activist as some of these other judges, but he's absolutely just as far left-wing, and you can tell from these decisions. We're talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This is a citizen of El Salvador. He is not an American citizen. That's one complication to the case. Second of all, he's been in the country since 2012, but he admitted he was here illegally in 2019. There's all of this confusion with ICE and DHS, that's a second complication to the case. Third of all, the only reason this guy is even back in the United States is because the Trump administration was ordered by the Supreme Court of the United States to get him back here so they could facilitate the continuation of his immigration proceedings. Well, all of this is like the most exceptional circumstances one could imagine. And Busek's side, former acting U.S. Attorney Ron O'Neill, that's not quite the name,
McGuire.
but
I think it was McGuire.
He had recently submitted a filing saying that there is no way a case like this could have been brought without interaction between the local U.S. attorney and the DOJ. And not only that, that's normal acting procedure. These people need to communicate with each other, to share expertise, to share information. And so if that is what Kilmar's case is hinging on, it's vindictive prosecution because there's been any communication between the Middle District of Tennessee and Washington, D.C., well, then every case in the country is going to be vindictive prosecution, and the jails will be emptied.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. By the way, so let's go take a look at now where this case stands. The alleged human... By the way, it's your reporting, our reporting at the Tennessee Star that broke this wide open, because we reported, and we broke the story that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was found and stopped in a traffic stop in November of 2022 on I-40 near Cookeville, driving a van owned by a convicted human smuggler without a valid driver's license, speeding, according to the reports, and swerving a little bit with 9 illegal aliens who couldn't speak English who had no luggage in the car. And that the FBI under Biden told them to release him. Now, there were all sorts of probable cause to arrest Kilmar Abrego Garcia that night. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And so we see now that in the Biden administration and in a Democrat world, what you have is there is a special class of protected person in America, an illegal alien or a criminal, alleged criminal illegal alien. They are protected, and American citizens are not. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
That really does seem to be the common thread of the Biden administration. You see it with Kilmar Abrego Garcia getting to leave despite not having a valid ID, carrying 9 people who didn't have documentation in his vehicle. Wasn't even his vehicle. It's owned by a human smuggler, a guy who I believe was actually in a federal prison as Kilmar Abrego Garcia was pulled over. So we see it in Tennessee with the federal government, but as you were talking about earlier in the show, look at what's happening in Somalia, where the number one Democrat response to this, other than Tim Walz saying white supremacy, has been to say, well, there was reporting on this all the way back in 2022, and they've just been working out the process. It's been ongoing since then. And so we're just told that the Biden administration apparently learned about all of this fraud 3-4 years ago, and then I guess did nothing and waited for Trump to come in. So yes, it does seem as though if you are in the country illegally, or even just a immigrant who is likely to take welfare and vote Democrat or have your children vote Democrat, then you're going to get off scot-free with about anything.
When we come back, Tom, let's talk about the new revelations from the documents we got from the FBI and the Coven killing. Back with Tom Pappert after this website, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's HealthyCell.com, HealthyCell, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network. The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
This is a big deal.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Pappert joins us, our lead political reporter, Dow Prize winner, the best local journalist in America, according to the Dow Prize, along with our executive editor, Christina Buteri, and yours truly, Tom. Let's talk about the revelations that have come from your reporting on the additional 230 pages of documents, mostly the writings of Audrey Elizabeth Hale, the 28-year-old woman who self-identified as a transgender male and who killed 6 people in Nashville at Covenant School in March of 2023. Tell us a little bit about the big story that you hit on yesterday, where she decided, I'm not going to hit this particular middle school because there are too many black kids there. I'm going to go after the white Christian kids at my former elementary school, Covenant School. Tell us about those details.
Michael, I'd like to just back up for a second, though. I'd like to remind everybody what Metro Nashville Police Department told us earlier this year in their final report on the Covenant case, when they closed the file, said they'd uncovered every stone and found every fact. Even before that, though, for months before that, they'd been telling us she hated everybody. There's something in there for everybody. Hale was full of hate. She wanted to be famous, and she didn't care who she killed. That's a little bit paraphrased.
But they also said she was not mentally ill.
Right. They said this was a sane person. Well, maybe in 2021, her writing seemed a little more sane than 2023. But in those more sane writings, she specifically created multiple lists of pros and cons. One was for her attack on the Covenant School. We talked about that earlier this week. Another one was for an attack on IT Creswell Middle School, a predominantly black middle school that she previously attended. Longtime listeners know that, yes, this is the middle school where she played on the basketball team. She developed obsessions with the other members of the team. One of them was a unrequited romantic attraction that she harbored until the day she died. One of the last people that she spoke to was this former basketball team member on social media. She sent an Instagram message essentially saying that she was about to commit an attack. Well, we know now that her fascination with this team, as her parents suggested in their 2023 police interview, apparently transmitted or transmutated into a general admiration for black culture. And she wrote in her list of pros and cons for an attack on the middle school, about 5 times she wrote that it was a predominantly black school, black people I love. It would leave black community in despair and in suffering. And she wrote, I don't want to cause that. I don't want to harm them. She experienced dread. Her final disadvantage, she wrote, was that she was likely to influence racist white shooters in the future. She also wrote that her black friends and the black community would hate her. And interestingly, Michael, she did even consider race, especially her preference for black people, in the advantages category, the pros category. She wrote, black community more aware of mental health. And then I'm not even sure what this means. It was a crazy person after all. She wrote in parentheses, other than themselves. So this is a person who was completely, at least in 2021, when she was writing pro and cons lists of what school to attack, motivated by race and religion. She wrote on the previous page, the pros and cons for the Covenant School, that she wanted to attack the school because she hates religion. She wrote as a pro on that list that she would get to attack white kids. So no, the Metro Nashville Police Department was wrong. There's not something in this for everyone. This is a religious and racially motivated, in some capacity, attack.
So, Tom, the spokesperson for Metro Nashville Police Department, Don Aaron, has been pretty good in responding to us. Now, we've got a couple little things there that seem to be don't make a lot of sense that we've heard from him lately since our further investigations go forward. But it might be not a bad idea to say, hey, Tom, just send him this. Don, look at these 3 stories. Look at what we've discovered. This seems to be completely contradictory to the conclusions of Metro Nashville Police Department. Your comments on this, Don Aaron, what do you think he'll say?
I think he will say, we refer you to the findings of our final report. Don Aaron is a very good communications professional, but he does work for Metro Nashville Police Department after all.
It wouldn't hurt to send him a New Year's Eve gift of a communication to just say, because that'll really make his New Year's Eve, right? Ask him in light of this new information, will Metro Nashville Police Department revise its report, which seems to be totally contradicted by these results? That will make his new year, I'm sure.
Well, and it's a reasonable thing to do because at this point we have, I think, 1,500 pages of Hale's writings, including most of what she wrote after this pros and cons list. So there was nothing to suggest in those later writings that there was some sort of genesis, some sort of moment where she said, I'm going to hate everybody, including black people. No, she stayed consistent as far as I can tell from 2021, really from 2018, when she was writing about how her gender was in opposition to her Christianity. She stayed consistent for 5 years in her beliefs, in her hatred, in her examination of herself. So I think Metro Nashville, yes, we'll have to send them another comment request and see if they, maybe they missed this file, Michael. There's a lot of writings.
Yeah, they'll be happy to hear from you, I promise. Tom Pappert, Happy New Year. Great reporting in 2025. 2026 will be even better. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. We'll see everybody next year.
Up next, Rosemary Jenks with the Immigration Accountability Project. She's been at this for, 3 decades and really knows what's going on. 10-year moratorium on immigration. I'm in favor of it. We'll see if she is. I'm pretty sure she is. Back after this.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am Passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter.
WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, 100.5, 107.7, 92.7 FM, AM 820, and WJFB Portsmouth, AM 1650.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Amid a huge fraud scandal in Minnesota, the Trump administration has suspended all child care payments to the state.
I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Assistant Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Adams says Minnesota gets $185 million in federal child care funds each year. HHS is demanding Minnesota Governor Tim Walz provide detailed information about federally funded child care centers in the state. Meanwhile, Minnesota Republicans are clamoring for Walz to step down. All of this snuffling and sniffling, the aches and pains, and what to do to bring down that fever. It is that time of the year, and this year, correspondent Bill Alexander says the flu is coming on strong.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there have been at least 7.5 million flu cases this season, as well as at least 81,000 hospitalizations and 3,100 deaths. The CDC says 32 jurisdictions are showing high or very high levels of the flu. Jurisdictions include all 50 states and some territories, as well as the District of Columbia and New York City.
Where tonight it's the traditional Times Square ball drop to ring in the new year. More than 1 million people are expected to turn out, and New York Mayor Eric Adams says we're ready.
We will have plainclothes K-9 teams, officers on horsebacks, on our trains, subway stations, and in helicopters and on boats. Pedestrians and vehicle closures will be in effect leading up to and during the event. Security is everyone's responsibility. Again, see something, say something, do something.
The Dow is down 163 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With the struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-9534. 800-298-9534. Again, that's 800-298-9534.
The U.S. has imposed sanctions on 10 people and businesses from Iran and Venezuela linked to Iranian drone and ballistic missile production. President Trump says those activities pose a threat to the U.S. and its allies.
The crux of what the United States is claiming is that the two countries are in cahoots with each other, and there is a trade not just in drones and drone technology, but conventional weaponry and parts needed for drones and conventional missiles. In Venezuela, what that apparently looks like from the non-specific release that the U.S. government has put out is that drones that are either developed and built in Iran are being used in Venezuela, and the United States says it's concerned about the threat that poses in the Red Sea and the Middle East as a result.
The BBC's Sean Dilley. The U.S. military says it has captured or killed more than 24 ISIS fighters in Syria this month. U.S. Central Command says it conducted 11 missions in the past 10 days. News and analysis, townhall.com. It could be a soggy Rose Parade in Pasadena to ring in 2026.
For the first time in 20 years, rain could be an intruder at the Rose Parade in Southern California. Forecasters now say that there's a 90% chance of rain, but rare wet weather is unlikely to keep floats, marching bands, entertainers, and others from participating. The beloved New Year's Day event attracts thousands of spectators and is watched by millions more on TV. It has rained only 10 times in the Rose Parade's history. The last time the parade saw rain was in 2006. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Greg Abel faces the challenge of taking over Berkshire Hathaway from legendary Warren Buffett this week. Now, many regard Buffett as the world's greatest investor. He grew Berkshire from a struggling New England textile mill to the massive conglomerate it is today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined now on our Zoom Newsmaker line by Rosemary Jenks, who's the founder of the Immigration Accountability Project and one of the leading experts on the problem of immigration in America today. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm delighted to have you here. What's the weather like
Delighted
up there?
to be here.
What's the weather
It's
up
actually, it's really sunny right now, but very cold. And unfortunately, I have a window just to my side here.
Well, we today here in Nashville, it was very sunny and 21 degrees, which is unusually cold, but no traffic on the streets. Okay, so the Immigration Accountability Project, there are a number of immigration groups out there on the conservative side. Tell us a little bit about the Immigration Accountability Project. When did you start it? And of course, we know your extensive background on immigration policy. A 2001 graduate of Harvard Law School, worked for a long time at Numbers USA. Before that, I think the Center for Immigration Studies. So you are well known to the community, but tell us a little bit about the purpose and mission of the Immigration Accountability Project.
So we started the Immigration Accountability Project in October of 2023. And we did so specifically because we wanted an organization that would focus specifically and exclusively on Congress and the administration. All of the other organizations have some focus on Congress, but they also, have state operations and various litigation operations and so on, which is great. And we need all of that. But our focus is on Congress because Congress sets immigration laws. The Constitution gives Congress plenary power over immigration. If we are going to fix our immigration system, it's going to have to be done by Congress. And that's, as we all know, a big ask because Congress can't do much of anything at the moment. But that is where our focus is, because Congress is the only body that can permanently fix the immigration system. President Trump has done some amazing things in closing the border and starting the mass deportations and all of that. But all of that can be reversed with the next administration if Congress doesn't act. So that's our focus. And one of the things that we have done is come up with a congressional ranking system on our website at iapaction.com that actually ranks all 535 members of Congress based only on their immigration actions. So their votes, the bills they introduce, the bills they co-sponsor, all of that is in there. We provide information on all of the bills and how they're all scored and all of that. So it's a great resource if you want to know how your member of Congress is doing on immigration, whether they're doing what they said they were going to do or not.
The broader question here is the problem of failure of many new immigrants, legal and illegal, to assimilate into the United States of America. In fact, that's why in 1920, thereabouts, the Congress, in essence, shut off all immigration. I think we'd gotten to the point there where about 14% of the population was foreign-born. And Senator Edward Kennedy, with that 1965 bill, opened the floodgates up again, and they've really gone crazy. I think back in 65, like 4.5%, 5% of the population was foreign-born. But today, I think we're at 16%, probably 17 or 18% if you actually add in all the illegals. And the problem is, at the turn of the 20th century, back in 1900 or so, the Eastern Europeans, the Irish, the Italians, Germans, Polish, they all wanted to assimilate and become American citizens. Today, the mixture is very different. A lot of third world country immigrants who've come in, different religious backgrounds, they don't want to assimilate. That is a huge problem, it seems to me. Is that how you look at it, Rosemary?
That is absolutely a problem. The other problem, well, there are numerous problems. One of them is that at the turn of the last century, we didn't have a welfare system. So our government was not stealing our money to give to foreigners who the government let in. The second thing is that people seem to ignore that the greatest time of prosperity in our country was during this time of low immigration after the world wars. We had the largest growth in the middle class with extremely low immigration. And so what did Congress do? They came in and opened up the floodgates. And of course, we're seeing the impacts of that. So when you combine this massive flood of immigration with a welfare system, you get a disaster. It simply cannot go together. And then you include the lack of assimilation. And the lack of assimilation is primarily due to the numbers of people we're letting in. Because if the numbers are large enough that an individual alien can find a community in the United States where they never have to speak English, they can speak their home language, they never have to go to a grocery store that is an English grocery store, they can, go to a local, from their own culture grocery store, a school that will cater to their language needs and their cultural needs. Never do we demand that folks in these communities actually become Americans, so they don't. Why would they?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we're handing them money.
They get free money. I mean, if you're from a poor third world country and you want to improve your standard of living, just move to the United States, get all these welfare benefits, and your standard of living has gone way up, and you're going to want to continue to bring in your family and other friends to basically, live off the hard work of American citizens. Now, let's talk about your legislative priorities. What's the number one congressional priority? Because you're right, the Constitution is clear. Immigration is a federal issue, and it is determined really at the highest level by statutes passed by Congress and signed into law by the president.
Yeah, so we're at a point now in 2025 going into 2026 where what we really need to do is just pause everything. Just stop all immigration until we have a chance to really clean up our house and, sort out the welfare fraud and sort out the assimilation issues. And that means a moratorium. So we have been pushing for, Congressman Chip Roy has introduced a moratorium bill called the Pause Act. We've been pushing for that. It essentially would stop all immigration except for tourists until Congress does a number of things, including ending birthright citizenship and ending chain migration, which is a huge problem, which is what lets all these individual aliens bring in their extended family members, which has made the numbers of immigrants skyrocket, and fix the H-1B system, make temporary visas actually temporary again, which they are not right now. So it does a variety of things. The alternative to that is there has been legislation introduced to end chain migration, just chain migration. That is a bill that Congressman Eli Crane has introduced, the Nuclear Family Priority Act. There is a bill that Congressman Babin from Texas has introduced to end birthright citizenship. All of these things have been introduced individually, but we're at a time right now when what we really need to do is just pause. If your basement is flooding, you don't start mopping before you turn off the water, right? So we've got to turn off the water so that we can clean up the mess.
Yeah, my friend Stephen K. Bannon, you were on a show yesterday. You were so good, we used your clip yesterday on it.
I appreciate that.
He says a 10-year pause. And you look at this historically, that makes sense because we paused from 1920 to 1965. That was 45 years. 10 years is nothing in this landscape. Is that the kind of pause that the Chip Roy bill would have?
Yes. I think it would take at least 10 years for Congress to actually do all the things that bill requires before the moratorium ends.
Hey, stick around through the break. We've got more to talk about. Want to learn about how people can support the Immigration Accountability Project and learn a little bit more about your background. I learned a little bit more that was quite interesting last night when I was doing some research for this. So Rosemary Jenks with the Immigration Accountability Project will be with us after the break.
Ponder this. Most of us are familiar with social media influencers. People that claim expertise on some probably irrelevant topic. Many hours are wasted following people online who do not add an ounce of value to our lives. There is only one influencer who matters, and you should be following him and his messages every day. He holds the keys to our peace. He shows us how to live lives of meaning. He is there to help us carry our daily crosses. He is Jesus Christ, and he is the influencer extraordinaire. Are you one of his followers? Or are you wasting time with useless information that will not bring peace and love to your life? Ask the Lord each day to provide you with spiritual influence that will change your life forever. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
There's a number of Democratic members of Congress who are pushing for impeachment, not just going after the president, going after RFK Jr. and others.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Judge Weinberg.
Listen, it's the most important midterm in our lifetime.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Frederick Media Network.
This is a big deal.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We're talking with Rosemary Jenks, the founder of the Immigration Accountability Project. Let's talk about the PAUSE Act. What's the likelihood that that will pass this year in Congress?
Very low. I don't think that Congress has quite got the message yet about where Americans really are on this issue. I think the Minnesota welfare fraud scandal and the other scandals that are inevitably going to follow that as we start investigating, child daycare centers and so on, we're going to find this throughout the country. I think those are going to build the momentum for something like this. But, the fact is that Congress takes a long time to turn its ship. We have, thanks to President Trump, the Republican Party has moved dramatically on immigration. It used to be the party of the Chamber of Commerce, and now it is increasingly the party of working Americans. We need to complete that turn. And really, Americans need to tell Congress where they stand on this, because Congress has never asked Americans what kind of immigration policy we want. We've never had a vote on it. We've never been asked to give our opinions. Mm-hmm. Congress just does this and expects us to live with the consequences. They don't have to live with the consequences. So it's time for us to tell them exactly what we want. And I think right now, a lot of Americans want a pause, just a pause, so that we can get our house back in order and start over and build a system that actually serves our interests instead of special interests and big business interests and, all of the other groups that have major interests in importing a large number of foreign nationals, essentially importing poverty into the United States.
Yeah, good point. Importing poverty, and so having American taxpayers support the extravagant lifestyles of poor people who come from third world countries. Who are the biggest obstacles to the passage of the PAUSE Act?
Well, all of big business, big agriculture, the Silicon Valley, all of these organizations, these industries that want cheap labor, mm-hmm. They are desperately trying to avoid having Congress cut off the flow of cheap foreign labor. They do not want to pay American wages to Americans. So, and I get that. I understand. As an employer, your job is to maximize your profits. I understand that. But the fact is that the government's job is to serve American citizens.
What about
not to serve employers?
What about political leaders who can be pressured on this? Where are the pressure points? Who should our listeners be contacting and say, you gotta support this?
Well, they need to contact their own 2 senators and representative, first of all, and then they need to contact the leadership, the Republican leadership of the House and the Senate. Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune need to have people calling them and emailing them and tagging them on X and, using other social media to get to them. We need to raise our voices. This is the whole point of America. If we don't take our power as the American people and use it, we're going to lose it. And we're seeing that, we have election integrity issues. We have non-citizens, including illegal aliens, voting in our elections. That is absolutely wrong. All of this needs to be brought to a stop so that we can clean up our system, protect our nation, and secure our future.
Has Speaker Johnson made any public statement about whether or not he will support the Pause Act in 2026?
He has not. Now, I have known Speaker Johnson since well before he was Speaker, and he understands the immigration issue better than a lot of members of Congress. However, I would point out that, Republican donors are part of the special interests that typically want mass immigration. And that is a huge problem that we have. If members of Congress can't raise money to run for re-election by taking the right stand on the immigration issue, it's much less likely that they're going to take the right stand.
Well, Speaker Johnson is a graduate of LSU Law School. He was a constitutional attorney for many, many years. Clearly, he understands that immigration policy under our Constitution is determined by the Congress, right?
Yes, absolutely. And he also understands some of the problems. He understands, the welfare fraud. He's made some strong statements on the welfare fraud, but not taking it back directly to, we have too much immigration. That's the bottom line. We have too much immigration, and we've had mass immigration for 50 years now, and it's too much.
What about Majority Leader John Thune in the Senate? Where does he stand on this issue, the Pause Act?
I don't think he's even as far along as Speaker Johnson is. There has been, over the years, there have been several big pushes from South Dakota to bring in more foreign nationals as workers. So there are definitely some conflicts there. And this is, a huge part of our problem. We have to get these members of Congress to recognize that they have a duty to all Americans, and all Americans are not being served by mass immigration. Mass immigration does, in fact, make some Americans very wealthy. It serves the elites who can hire cheap workers and get cheap nannies and cheap landscapers and so on. And it also enriches the immigrants themselves. But it does not help the average American.
It hurts the average American.
We subsidize it. That's absolutely right. We subsidize all of these costs.
Rosemary Jenks, is there anyone in the Senate who's co-sponsored and introduced the Pause Act along with?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Congressman Jim Banks has actually introduced the Senate version of the Nuclear Family Priority Act to end chain migration. He also has an H-1B reform bill. Lindsey Graham, surprisingly enough, has introduced the Senate version of the birthright citizenship bill. So there are a few senators. I mean, Lindsey Graham's not going to help us with the Pause Act. I can guarantee you that.
But if we were able to persuade any senator to co-sponsor this Pause Act, that would be a good thing, wouldn't it?
That would be huge. It's always good when you have the same bill in both chambers. That starts to build momentum for it, and we need to build the momentum. Really, we just need these members of Congress to understand that we're fed up. We've had enough. And you know what? The more fed up Americans get without actual change, the angrier they get, and the more they blame the wrong people. We don't need to be blaming immigrants for, coming in and taking advantage of the system we set up. We need to blame Congress. Congress did this. Congress designed this system. It's working exactly as Congress designed it. So we need to put the blame where it lies, which is with them.
And so the Pause Act would pause the refugee resettlement program as well, right?
All of it. Yep. Yeah. H-1Bs, refugees, legal immigration, everything.
It should. Okay, tell us a little bit briefly about your background. I found it fascinating. You worked for the Center for Immigration Studies, went to Harvard Law School for 3 years, and then came back, worked for Numbers USA, and now with the Immigration Accountability Project. That's a very interesting path that you've taken. Why did you go to law school, and how's it helped?
I actually went to law school to get out of immigration because having worked for 8 years at the Center for Immigration Studies, I decided, I wanted to learn something new. So I went to law school. It's a very expensive way to learn that. And I came back and started working directly for Numbers USA. So I failed in my mission to get out of immigration. I've now been doing immigration for 35 years.
Well, you have a whole history of experience and understanding and a track record. You understand it as well as anybody in the country.
Yeah, I don't know anything else, but I know immigration.
Hey, if people want to help the Immigration Accountability Project, where do they go? What can they do on the last day of 2025?
We would love everyone's support. First of all, go to IAPaction.com, IAPaction.com, and check out our congressional ranking system. Find your member of Congress, see how they're doing. There's a donate button on that page. We're also very active on X. Our account is at IA Project. All of our social media is linked from our website. We also have a resources page. We have fact sheets on all the different visas and legal immigration categories and all the legislation. And so there are a lot of resources there. But I think the congressional immigration rankings are really exceptional. So go check those out at IAPaction.com. IAPaction.com.
That's the website. And
that's the website.
End of the year, if somebody was really inspired and wanted to help your mission, how would they do that?
If you're really inspired, go to iaproject.org, which is a C3 website, so you can get a tax deduction for your donation, iaproject.org. And we desperately need everyone's help. As we've talked about, the moneyed interests are all on the other side. So we need regular Americans to come and help us keep this issue going forward and keep educating Congress and holding them accountable for their immigration actions.
IAPaction.com. I'm looking at it right now. It's really great. At the very top, Andy Biggs with a score of 151, followed by Brandon Gill of Texas. And then Chip Roy's at there as well at number 130. I'm going to check this out, IAPaction.com. What a great tool. Rosemary Jenks, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have you back on. All right. We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. What a great guest, Rosemary Jenks, with the Immigration Accountability Project. It is a smart, very smart area for her to focus on. And I'll tell you why. Because she's right. Immigration policy is determined by Congress. It's right there in the Constitution. And I really love the level of rating that they put together. Go to IAPaction.com, and I want to explain it to you a little bit. It's very sophisticated, but very helpful. So if you go to IAPaction.com, and then just click on either Senate or House, but let's start off with the Senate for a moment, because it's sort of right up our alley. What they do is, and I'm going to talk about, of the senators, of which there are 100, the very highest, among the highest ranking senators are Jim Banks of Indiana, Mike Lee of Utah, Ted Budd of North Carolina, and Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, among the very highest ranking, voting the right way and acting the right way on immigration issues. So let's take a look at this for a minute. The way it's fascinating how they rate it. They give 1 point if they co-sponsor a good bill. They give 10 points for the right vote on an immigration-related bill, and 5 points, 2 to 5 points if they are the sponsor of a big bill. And then 5 points if they're a co-sponsor of a big bill. So let's take a look at this, how they rate Senator Marsha Blackburn. She's got a total of 106 points, which gives her the 4th ranking in terms of being right on immigration out of 100. It's pretty good, almost number 1. But as an example, she opposed continuing appropriations and extensions for various immigration bills. That's good. She opposed continuing on 3 different areas. She also, so that's a budget bill. She sponsored a bill to restrict certain federal grants for states that grant driver's license to illegal immigrants and failed to share information about criminal aliens. She got 2 points for that. She supported the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, got 10 points for that. She's a co-sponsor, wait for it now, of the Birthright Citizenship Act of 2025, got 5 points for that. She's a co-sponsor of the SAVE Act. She got 5 points for that. She's a co-sponsor of the Lake and Riley Act. She got 5 points for that. So a very strong record on immigration issues for Marsha Blackburn. Bill Hagerty's a little bit lower on the chain, but I want to go now to House Republicans. And you'll see, this will not surprise you. So out of, there's 220 House Republicans? I mean, what's the total number? Yeah, 220 House Republicans right now. And Chip Roy is ranked number 5, rather, not surprisingly. But our highest ranking member, I'm scrolling down here to see, but this won't surprise you. But I think our highest ranking member is Andy Ogles here in Tennessee. And I'm looking to see kind of where some others are, but some others not so hot, as it turns out. Chuck Fleischman, down the list. Andy Ogles is 10th out of 220 in terms of the right immigration votes. And I'm doing a little bit this in real time, but it's probably worth doing here. So let me get down to the other members. Diane Harshberger from the 1st District is ranked number 43 out of 220. That's okay. I think we've got right around there also in terms of vote. Tim Burchett is up there as well. I'm kind of look at it right now. Where is John Rose? Where are some of the others? Where's I don't see John Rose. Chuck Fleischman's way down. Yeah, Tim Burchett's actually down to number 83. Rose is. Did you get it already? That's very good. John Rose is 57. So yeah, not so hot on that. All right. So there you go. Let's go back to the fraud in Minnesota. This is kind of the core of the problem, isn't it? Let's start out with Tricia McLaughlin, clip 6.
As we speak, our Homeland Security investigators, hundreds are on the ground. They're knocking doors. They're going to local businesses. They're going to these sites where we believe that there is rampant fraud, whether it be daycare centers, healthcare centers, or other organizations that take taxpayer dollars. Our Homeland Security investigators on the ground are also seeing that these suspected perpetrators are really trying to cover their tracks. They're trying to whitewash the operational facts on the ground, purporting to be a legitimate business, have legitimate business operations, when it's all a fugazi. So we're going to continue to ask those questions. We're learning more and more, especially with the FBI and our DOJ partners on the ground.
Yeah, they're going after him. There's no question about it. And they should. Now, it's interesting because, if you look at Andy Biggs, they're going to do oversight committee hearings. That's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But, nothing happens. Because after you do the oversight committee hearings, where do you go? Well, you go to the Department of Justice. I think the Department of Justice is going to do a good job on it. I mean, you'll get, I think Harmeet Dillon's going to look at it. Pam Bondi's going to look at it. I do think you're going to see prosecutions coming out of the Department of Justice on this. Now, it's not just child care. It's not just food for children. That's being subjected to fraud. It's voter fraud. Listen to this, clip 11.
Allows registered voters to, quote, vouch for up to 8 other people who want to do same-day voter registration. Here's a little excerpt of that policy. It says, quote, a registered voter can vouch for up to 8 voters. You cannot vouch for others if someone vouched for you. Jonathan, is the honor system a good way to run elections?
It's so bizarre. It's really breathtaking. The fact is, most of the citizens in this country, according to polls, just want voter ID. That you just show your ID, you confirm your identification, and you've got states like Minnesota coming up with these kindergarten rules instead of just having simple voter ID systems that work. This is overwhelmingly popular with American voters, and so we really have to sort of hash through this in the coming election. It's going to be one of the issues that's going to be in the forefront, because we have new investigations that are showing serious problems in a lot of states with ongoing voter ID failures.
And I do want to ask you.
Yeah, okay, so what's this all about? I mean, we've talked about the replacement theory, and all the Democrats say, oh, no. That's what they're doing here. They're bringing in legal and illegal immigrants from third world countries who hate America, who, in the case of the 250,000 Somalis who live in Minnesota, 80%, 85% of them on welfare? They're basically taking your money. You're working hard for it. They're taking your money. And then there are allegations that a lot of this money is going back to Democratic political operatives. And this whole vouch for thing, how crazy is that? Think about this. If you want to go and to vote, you need to show your ID. You can't vouch for somebody else. I mean, if we had that in Tennessee, what would happen? You'd have, people from out of state coming in, and somebody would vouch for 8 of them. You can vouch for, in Minnesota, you can vouch for up to 8 people. And E.J. Haast, who was here yesterday with some really breaking stuff, we'll get to in our next segment about what E.J. Haast had to say about who's really accountable for this. She's witnessed. They would bring in Somalis, men and women, who couldn't speak English. And, one Somali would vouch for 8 of them at the same time. Are you kidding me? This is how, and remember, Minnesota, you'd had a number of statewide Republicans succeed for a period of time. Norm Coleman was a senator there for a while, right? Republican. You had some Republican governors, but that's all changed right now. It's been a decade since there's been a statewide Republican elected in Minnesota. Why is that? I think the fact that there's 250,000 Somalis there, many of them not capable of voting or even speaking English, who've been vouched for. There's a lot of illegal voting going on in Minnesota, and that explains what the big scam is, right? What's the big scam? You put these programs in, the federal money, what is it, $9 billion, $18 billion? The federal money goes to the state of Minnesota, run by the complete nutcase, Tim Walz, who then has his agencies, which he doesn't supervise, dole those money out to allegedly fraudulent daycares and healthcare companies that they don't do any auditing on. And where's that money go? Some of it goes back into the coffers of the Democrat Party. Some of it goes back to Somalia. Some of it buys beachfront condominiums in Kenya and all that sort of stuff. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to mention this again. Ilhan Omar, who has been elected as a member of Congress from Minneapolis, has claimed that at the age of 17, she became an American citizen. Except, what's wrong with that story? You can't become an American citizen if you're under the age of 18 unless your parent becomes an American citizen. Her mother died when she was 2 years old. And her father, who she came over with, never became an American citizen. Where's the evidence that she is, in fact, a naturalized citizen? Is that fraudulent as well? Let's look at that. And if there's no evidence, you basically throw her out of Congress and deport her. I'm in favor of that. Hey, when we come back, E.J. Haast yesterday, a 12-year resident in Minnesota, told us the 5 state agencies that need to be raided and investigated today because they've known about this fraud for almost a decade and have done nothing about it. Why? Are they complicit? Back with this highlight from E.J. Haast after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Yesterday, former Minnesota resident for 12 long years, E.J. Haas, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, had something to say, some new information about the fraud in Minnesota, the alleged Somali fraud, $9 billion, $18 billion. This is what Nick Shirley identified in his 42-minute video that has 110 million views so far. There's something missing, actually, and E.J. Haas identified that. It's the state agencies, 5 of them, 5 state agencies directly under the control of Tim Walz, who've done nothing for the 7 years he's been governor. And what's interesting about this is they were well aware of the fraud. And according to EJ, their failure to act is complicity in it. Let's watch this clip. It's really, really good. It's also on my X account, Michael P. Leahy. Let's go with this clip. EJ Host yesterday on this program.
I promise you these people didn't do it all by themselves. This wasn't done by accident or in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Or, like they figured it all out on their own. Nonsense. A good many of them barely speak English. Somebody helped them. Well, there are 5 agencies in the state of Minnesota that are responsible for oversight of fraud, oversight of funding distribution.
Mhm.
There are 5 agencies that should have caught this but didn't. I say they were complicit. You've got Attorney General Keith Ellison, Office of the
Number
Attorney
one.
General, right? Number 1. We know, however, that he has ties to, Muslim Brotherhood, Louis
Sure.
Farrakhan. He placates to the Somali populations for the votes. That's where he lives, in that District
Sure.
5, the whole bit. Minnesota Department of Human Services.
Yep.
Currently, Shireen Gandhi is the temporary commissioner. Why? And I think this is important. Because Jody Harpstead left in early 2025. Want to know who Jody Harpstead is?
I'm about to find out.
You are about to find out. Okay, so this woman took over in about 2019 for the Department of Health and Health Services or whatever. And as commissioner, she before that worked for, are you ready for this? Lutheran Social Services of Minnesota. She was the president and CEO of LSS. For those who don't know, LSS is heavily involved in the resettlement of refugees. They tend to go to places where there are lots of free stuff and social programs for the refugees. What I'm saying is Jody Harpstead, the Office of the Inspector General, James Clark. Number 3, Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, BCA.
Is that like our Bureau, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation?
Yes. Yep.
Got
Very
it.
similar. Drew Evans is the superintendent there. Oversees investigations into financial crimes and state program fraud. I want to see raids by DOJ, FBI, whoever is responsible
On these groups.
on these offices. Because I promise you, if you go in there and do that, you'll find more.
Number 4.
2 more. Office of Legislative Auditor. These are all state agencies that are responsible. I mean, it literally says in their description, identifying fraud risks in state agencies and programs.
Hello.
So there's that one.
And then what's the 5th one?
Minnesota Management and Budget, MMB. Erin Campbell is the commissioner. It's supposed to be internal controls, financial operations, and fraud risk management. Someone has to be complicit in these agencies in order to make that happen.
Yeah, you think? Okay, so right now, we by the way, we share this with our friends who have the capability, shall we say, to start these investigations. I think they should. I mean, all 5 of those agencies right now, DHS agents, FBI agents, Department of Justice officials, should be knocking on their doors. There should be warrants. They should go to judges, federal district court judges in Minneapolis right now, or anywhere in Minnesota, I think it would have jurisdiction. Get a warrant to obtain all of the documents and records in those 5 state agencies, collect them, and put together the track record. Now, obviously, when you're doing an audit, oh my goodness, what should you be doing? Well, when you're doing an audit, what you should do is ask for the receipts. Now, the receipts are in those buildings somewhere, right? If there are receipts, and what have they done to investigate? Did these child care places, did they investigate properly? I think not. And then you get into the question of dereliction of duty, corruption while in office. If they didn't do their duty, and if they were aware that this fraud was going on, are they complicit criminally? It's hard to conclude otherwise. I mean, because they're not stupid people. They're not stupid. You can see, here's all of this $9 billion coming into the state of Minnesota from the feds, and where's it going? What are we doing to track it? Basically, it seems to me that an intelligent person who's in charge of one of these 5 state agencies had got to be aware that there were allegations of fraud. They didn't look into them, according to many, many reports. And if they didn't look into them, I think Perp Walk City's coming down their way, it seems to me. All right, there you go. Hey, when we come back, oh, there he is, 47, and Sean Farash, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, should be here in studio momentarily. Back after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy, the website, TennesseeStar.com.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. Mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter.
Get your truth by the truckload from America's Godzilla of Truth, The John Fredericks Show, weekdays 5 to 9 a.m. on WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis.
Breaking news from Town Hall. In Washington, I'm Bernie Bennett. Make it 3 weeks in a row for the American job market.
First-time applications for unemployment benefits fell last week for the third straight week, dropping 16,000 from the week before to 199,000. It's fewer than analysts surveyed by FactSet had been expecting. They had predicted 208,000 new applications.
Correspondent Rich Thomason. It's already New Year's Day across the international date line. This is the sound of Sydney, Australia celebrations in the lead up to midnight. The enormous display showcasing music, art, and performances celebrating indigenous cultures. Auckland, New Zealand welcomed 2026 in with a fireworks display from Sky Tower, marking the start of global celebrations. Australia followed with a defiant celebration after its worst mass shooting in nearly 30 years, in which 2 gunmen targeted a Hanukkah celebration in Sydney, killing 15. A minute of silence honored the victims before the fireworks at Sydney Harbour Bridge. Indonesia scaled back festivities due to recent floods, while Hong Kong held a subdued event after a deadly fire. Berliners celebrated in snowfall, and Greece and Cyprus opted for quieter displays. New York City has increased security in Times Square for the ball drop at midnight. Russian drones have blasted apartment buildings and the power grid in the Ukrainian city of Odessa, injuring 6 people, including 3 children. Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed confidence in a military victory as the war nears its 4-year mark. Wall Street is holding steady at the beginning of the last day of trading for 2025. The S&P 500 was flat early Wednesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped 47 points to 0.1%. The Nasdaq Composite was little changed. Trading is expected to be light ahead of the New Year's Day holiday, when markets will be closed. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Bernie Bennett.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here with Wesley Financial Group. My 78-year-old friend Linda called me yesterday. She bought a $40,000 timeshare in Nashville. She was told it was a great investment and that he would personally book all her vacations. All lies. She called our sales rep, Chris, the next morning at 4:57 a.m. to cancel, and she was told it was too late. You had your chance yesterday. Another lie. She has 10 days in Tennessee. I am in a war with the timeshare industry because people keep buying their lies, and they don't want me to help you. If you need a timeshare, I'm sure one of the 3,500 people that call my office weekly would love to give you one of theirs. Or go online and pay $1 for it. But stop paying $40,000 for lies. It's time to stop the insanity. Don't wait another day.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-364-7711. That's 800-364-7711. 800-364-7711.
Here's the midday Wall Street Business Report.
Wall Street opened pretty much unchanged today. The market will be closed tomorrow. With institutional investors largely closed out of their positions for the year, trading is expected to be very light. The S&P 500 is up more than 17% this year as investors embrace the promise of artificial intelligence. First-time claims for jobless benefits have fallen for the third straight week, dropping to 199,000 last week. Greg Abel faces a challenge of taking over Berkshire Hathaway this week from legendary investor Warren Buffett. Many regard Buffett as the world's greatest investor after he grew Berkshire from a struggling New England textile mill to the massive conglomerate it is today. Its shares go for more than $750,000 a pop. I'm Rich Thomason.
More on these stories at townhall.com. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on 10 people and businesses from Iran and Venezuela, linked to Iranian drone and ballistic missile production. President Trump says those activities pose a threat to the U.S. and its allies.
The crux of what the United States is claiming is that the two countries are in cahoots with each other, and there is a trade not just in drones and drone technology, but conventional weaponry and parts needed for drones and conventional missiles. In Venezuela, what that apparently looks like from the non-specific release that the US government has put out is that drones that are either developed and built in Iran are being used in Venezuela, and the United States says it's concerned about the threat that poses in the Red Sea and the Middle East as a result.
That's the BBC's Sean Dilley. Security has been increased nearly a year after New Year's Day attack in New Orleans, 14 dead. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Bernie.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It's Wednesday, Trump Day. Hump Day, some people call it, but really it's Trump Day. I hear the helicopter. There it is. Coming out. 47. And right next to him, the very greatest Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash. And walking into the studio right now, sitting down, 47. Mr. President, welcome.
Well, we're very happy to be here. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year to you as well. We're doing well. I have to say, too, we're looking forward to a big, beautiful New Year's resolution, you know. It's called Project 2026. Everybody wants to say it was going to be so bad in 2025. Now, Project 2026 is the new one. We're going to deport everybody, including maybe even American citizens if we get tired of them. Maybe we'll just get rid of everybody who starts doing a bad job, but we'll see what happens. But we're very happy to be here. We're happy to see 2026 right around the corner. And we're going to get rid of the bug. I call them bug people. You know, the Somalians, they look like bugs. You know, really nasty. They look very nasty. They're very stupid people, too. Very stupid.
Now, Mr. President, you say things that are always true, but you say them in such a direct way that soy boys around the world wet their pants.
It happens a lot. We had a former president who wet his pants, and also other things, too. They call it soiling, right? Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe, Poopy Joe, whatever you want to call them, just nasty. These are overall nasty people.
So, Mr. President, I'm going to read you this tweet from Stephen Miller, your domestic policy guy. He's a tough guy. He's a smart guy. But I think it's on point. For decades, he put this out yesterday, and it's just 2 sentences, but it describes where we are as a country right now. For decades, Steve Miller wrote on X, formerly Twitter, the structure of U.S. society, by intent and design, was remade to redistribute wealth, resources, property, and opportunity from Americans to non-Americans. These looted assets were then used to finance the Democrat Party and all its subsidiary schemes and structures.
That's exactly what happened. You look at it, you had a bunch of people, they take your money, and they send it to nasty people, or people who shouldn't be here, or people who don't want to assimilate. They're not assimilating. And the Somalia, these are very nasty. It's a crappy country. What a nasty country. And we call it an S-hole. You're not supposed to say the sugar, honey, iced tea word on the radio. So, but, that's what we call it.
It's a sugar, honey,
iced
tea hole.
It's a hole full of sugar and honey and iced tea. And when you put it all together, you know what happens. We can't say it. They say, sir, don't say it on the radio. And I'll tell Brendan Carr he better watch himself if they come near this. Don't do it. But no, we're not going to let it happen. And they're taking our money, all of our money, and they're funding very nasty things. You look at Al-Shabaab. You look at the daycare centers without any children. Philip Rivers has more kids in his family than the entire Minnesota Somali daycare system. So
That's actually, he's 10 kids.
10 kids. There's 0 children enrolled in the Quality Leering Center. The Leering Center. We want to leer something new. Let's leer. I got along very well with King Lear. Tremendous person.
The Quality Leering Center. We're talking about the estimated $9 billion, $18 billion, and growing fraud. Federal funds for various programs have gone to the state of Minnesota, and then has been dispersed for apparently, allegedly fraudulent purposes, largely to the Somali community. Used to be the case that the state of Minnesota, people there were called Minnesota Nice. Mr. President, what happened to Minnesota Nice?
We went from Minnesota Nice to Minnesota Vice. It's nasty. It's very nasty. And they're very nice people. Even Tim Walz, who is a stupid person, he calls it the R word. I call him a stupid person. But he is a nice guy. He was very nice to JD on the debate stage, and he got his butt kicked. He had the floor mopped with him. It was like watching the New York Jets against a high school football team, believe it or not. But he's a nice guy, but he's a stupid guy. And everybody in Minnesota is so nice. They're giving their money to the state thinking they're doing a beautiful thing, but they're only funding the bug people. Think about it.
So, I mean, it's not just Minnesota tax. It's Tennessee taxpayers. It's every taxpayer, because a lot of federal money has gone into the state of Minnesota, which they then disperse and pay no attention to it. All sorts of alleged fraud there. Just amazing. It's fascinating to see all this. And by the way, so you talk about Tim Walz, the governor. He's up for re-election. His approval-disapproval rating has sort of gone the wrong direction. Of late, he's defending all of this. He thinks, and I heard him talk about this, there's a community there called Worthington, 10,000 people. He went out the other day and said how wonderful and beautiful it was that they have 50 languages in their schools. 50. Now, Mr. President, how can assimilation take place when in a community as small as 10,000, the students in schools have 50 languages?
Well, they can't even assimilate with themselves because they don't know what the hell language they're supposed to be speaking. I think I'm going to go to that area. We're going to hold a rally.
Really?
And I'm going to stand on the stage, with a big, beautiful number 1, and I'm going to press it for English. We're going to press 1 for English the whole
Press
time.
1 for English.
That's all we're going to do, and they're going to throw me out. They're going to say, you're a racist. No, we're not. It's a safety problem. If you don't know how to communicate, it's a problem. So,
will it be the case that maybe the campaign theme for the 2026 midterm elections will be press 1 for English?
Press 1 for English.
I love that.
Or we're going to sell Minnesota to Canada.
I don't think Canada would take it.
Well, they're going to have to take it. And we're going to give them Buffalo, too, along with Kathy Hochul, the bucktooth Botox bandit of Buffalo, a nasty person.
Speaking of New York, Zohran Mamdani tomorrow will be inaugurated. And he is going to make the general counsel for the city of New York an Islamist attorney who came to America after 9/11, who spent his time defending all of these illegal aliens who are out there protesting against the United States. What do you make of that, Mr. President?
Well, I think Zohran the moron is it's very questionable what they're doing in New York. And we had a good meeting in the White House, but we'll see what happens. He's fitting the Statue of Liberty for a hijab. It's very nasty. We don't like it very much, but, we may have to sell New York City to Canada, too. We may have to sell all the cities we don't want to Canada. We may be able to do that with California, too. We could just give anything we don't want to Canada. We could treat Canada like Russia, who I get along well with. They treat Siberia. It's where you exile. It's like their dump. You know that? We send all of that. It's like the dump. Like Somalia is a dump of a country. We could use Canada like our dump, and we could send everything we don't like to Canada. They want to be smart about all these things, a wise guy. You don't want to be a wise guy. We could treat them like Russia treats Siberia, but we should send Zohran there. We could send a lot of people there. Rosie O'Donnell. She said she won't
She's in Ireland.
She said she won't come back to the United States if J.D. Vance is president. So you know who we're endorsing, J.D. Vance?
Of course. Right.
Because Ireland can deal with that black hole. You know that Rosie O'Donnell's eating them out of house and home. There's another famine because of Rosie.
Mr. President, I hear the helicopter there in the distance. You got to go. You got to go to New Year's Eve tonight, Mar-a-Lago, I think, right? But can you let Sean Farash stick around for the next segment?
He can stay. He's a nice guy and a very talented person.
All right, Mr. President, thanks for joining us. Up next, Sean Farash. We're going to talk about a new name for the NFL's Minnesota Vikings after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Sean Farage, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, is here with us. Thanks for sticking around after the president left and went back to Mar-a-Lago. We really appreciate it. You know, I wrote a book back I think in 2009, called, it was self-published, Rules for Conservative Radicals. And it was based upon
Alinsky,
Rules for Radicals. By the way, he dedicated his book to the devil.
Right.
But and it was written in the early 60s, and this is the style that the left has used. Right?
Like to a T?
Yeah. And basically you isolate somebody and you ridicule them. And you use a tactic, but you don't drag it on too long. A tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag, right? Which is true. But it was interesting. Let's talk about ridicule. Ridicule is, I think, very effective.
The power of mockery. I love it.
And right now,
Trump understands that, by the way.
He understands that. And so now we're taking a look at the out of control Minnesota state government and the Democrat Party, which has been either complicit or allowed knowingly an estimated $18 billion and growing fraud, largely within the migrant community from Somalia, right? And so I thought, okay, it's NFL playoff time. Let's do something that'd be kind of fun, if you will, to use that tactic, that technique, to illustrate the crookedness of the state of Minnesota. And so what I did late last night, I put this out, and it's really hilarious. I put this tweet out. I think you saw it, and you shared it.
It's funny,
and it's got a lot of people following it. In light of the massive Somali fraud investigation, the NFL's Minnesota Vikings may decide to change the name from Vikings to, and we'll get to, they're the Vikings because Minnesota, which became a state in 1858, their entire population is largely Norwegian, Swedish, Scandinavian.
Yeah, that's a problem because that's white.
Yeah, and so it's Vikings.
White guilt.
Yeah.
Viking.
Okay, so now the state has been taken over by third world migrants from Somalia who have a very different culture, Muslim, who basically are there to take advantage of America. 85% of them on welfare. And they're all voting, and they flipped Minnesota from a purpley red state to a blue state. That's the bottom line. So the idea here was, okay, I'll put it out on X, and I'll ask people, what should be the new, if the Minnesota Vikings would be forced to change their name.
Right, like the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, the Washington Redskins changed their name, right? They got forced to. I put out 6 actually options, and then I said, what do you think? I want to run these by you. And so I suggested the Minnesota Fraudsters, the Minnesota Mullahs, the Minnesota Soy Boys, the Minnesota Ungratefuls, the Minnesota Con Men, the Minnesota Failed Staters. Okay, that's what I suggested.
Right.
But boy, the people who follow this on X had some great. My favorite is, if you know the NFL history, one person suggested the Minnesota Purple People Cheaters.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that because they were the Purple People Eaters. Their primary color of the Vikings uniform is purple.
Yeah.
And of course, you have the one-eye, one-horn flying Purple People Eater, which I got along very well with him too. A tremendous guy. But I love that Purple People Cheaters. I think that's great. I think that's really funny. I saw the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, I think.
What did they say?
The Minnesota tampons.
The tampons?
Because of 10 walls. But,
or?
I mean, we could, what we could do, but I don't think it's a nice thing to do. We could do the Minnesota R words.
Ah.
But then that makes the entire state of Minnesota look like they're dumb, and they're not. There's a lot of good people in Minnesota. It's just one R word runs the state, So
The Minnesota Fraud Kings.
Fraud Kings.
I like that.
That's cool. The villains. I saw the villains. I saw the Pirates, but you already have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're Pirates already.
And the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah,
but,
you also have the Raiders. They have eye patch.
But
yeah,
I like this version of it. The Minnesota Welfare Pirates.
The Welfare Pirates. That's fine.
You like that one?
Yeah. Yeah. How about the Minnesota Learers?
That was
learners?
Great. The Minnesota Learers.
Learers. Oh, my gosh. Just, this story is so, by the way, this story is so unbelievable. Like, the amount of fraud, the blatant, you notice what's going on. Nobody's questioning the veracity of the reporting either. They're not like, oh, you just misunderstand what's going on. They're like, okay, like caught with the pants completely down, tiny TP, the whole 9 yards. But like, I'm mad about it. Like I'm actually, because as you mentioned in the previous segment, and a lot of people aren't putting two and two together, any American taxpayer is a victim of this fraud because $185 million in federal funds per year goes to, and this is just the daycare side of this. There was the autism thing a couple of weeks ago, right? Where they were like bogus autism foundations and the Feeding Our Future. You ever see the sign at McDonald's? 10 million meals served, Feeding Our Future. 0 meals served. 0. Who are they feeding? Yeah. Nobody. They're feeding Al-Shabaab. So it's one of these things where I'm like I got mad today. I was doing my streaming. I pounded the table, started banging. I don't want to break it. I just bought this new desk. But it's like, because what is it going to take? My question is, why do I pay taxes if this is where it's going? Right? Yeah. I mean, like, and now we need desperately, and I know there's been 85 cases and 60 convictions and all more. We need more than 60, and it needs to be. And this is something that's taking place in more than just Minnesota. Okay, there's allegations now, very similar allegations, very similar story out of Columbus, Ohio, very similar story out of Washington State. Cam Higbee, independent journalist, is putting some stuff out in a little while. He teased it. Maine. Okay. And I if you think it's only happening in Washington State, Minnesota, and Maine, and it's not happening in a place like New York or California, I want to know where are you getting your drugs from? Because they are high-powered and they should be illegal.
I've got a clue here. Wherever there's a Somali community, for sure there's fraud.
Oh, I mean,
that's their culture.
Ireland, Brennan, my wife sent me something. They do this in Ireland. Same thing, daycare fraud. The same thing. They do it in other countries. So, look,
well, they've got to think that Western civilization is filled with stupid people.
They have to. Look, I'm not about to paint with a broad brush and say every person of Somali descent is a fraudster, because it's not true. But oh my goodness,
probably the majority is.
89% of Somali households in Minnesota with children are on one or more forms of welfare. Okay?
Of course, yeah.
So you have the government funding their meals that are on the table, welfare, Medicaid, Medicare, whatever the heck it is they're on. And then on the other side of this, you've got the government funding these bogus childcare businesses where, and you have these families that, and this was a video from 2015 of these families showing up to these daycare centers with their kids, walking in with them, and then a few minutes later walking out with them with envelopes in their hands.
Of course.
What?
Hello.
So don't demonize the whole community. Well, the community is propping up its own fraud.
The other thing too is when you have some when there's something of news breaks, and you don't report the facts, right?
Right.
Then they say, "Oh, you're going to have all sorts of conspiracies out there."
Right.
Here's the problem: when you don't honestly report the facts, people will fill in the blanks.
Well, yeah, when you leave holes, they're going to fill it in with.
Absolutely.
It's an information. It's like a power vacuum. So, in a country where you have a regime change or in a regime falls and you have a power vacuum and the most extreme candidate usually takes power, in the same thing when there's holes in the story, it's usually people default to the most extreme explanation. Look at, the Charlie Kirk stuff with Candace and what she did and, And this happens every time. Last year, think about it. Last year, New Jersey, remember the drones?
Yeah.
And there was rumors that a nuclear bomb went missing in the United States. Guys, what are you doing? But that's it. When you leave the holes, it gets filled.
And that's what
with,
Tim Walz is doing right now.
Exactly.
He's saying white
doing.
supremacy. Really? Here, just go into have these 5 agencies that E.J. Host identified.
Right.
They're all supposed to be tracking fraud.
She's from Minnesota.
She lived there for 12 years.
Yeah, she a resident.
So, okay, just go in and do a normal audit. That's the way you handle it. They're not doing that. By the way, back to our ridicule of the state of Minnesota, which used to be Minnesota Nice, now it's Minnesota Vice, as you point out. And the NFL's Minnesota Vikings, we've got some, names, suggestions for them changing the name. This one I like from Sissy Girl Sisonga on X, formerly Twitter. The Minnesota Bilkings.
Oh,
isn't that clever?
All right, the Bilkings. Okay.
You got to think about that.
Right. I like things that make me think, though.
The Minnesota Snohomish Pirates.
The Snohomish Pirates. Yeah. Oh my god.
I think that's pretty good, don't you?
Yeah. I think so too. The swashbucklers. I swashbuckle like nobody's ever seen. I'm thinking of a bit, by the way, Michael. Trump, the Pirate King.
Oh yeah.
I have a pirate hat.
Yeah, you got to do it. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention geographically from Minnesota to New York City. There's going to be a new mayor in town.
Yep.
And it's going to be pretty much a disaster.
Yeah, I think so.
Back with Sean Farash after this.
EJ Host here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at DT McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. DT McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
It is always a treat and a privilege to have in studio the very best Trump impersonator in the world, bar none, Sean Farash, every Trump Day.
Every Trump Day.
Every Trump Day.
Every Trump Day. It's always fun to be here.
11 a.m. Eastern Time on Trump Day, Wednesday. And so I wanted, before we get into Zohran Mamdani, who will be the mayor of New York City tomorrow, I want to go to some of the Christmas highlights of Sean Farash. Let's start out with Feliz Deportado, your song to the tune of Feliz Navidad. Let's play this right now.
Feliz Deportado. Feliz Deportado. Feliz Deportado. Prospero viaje y no vuelvas. We're gonna get you out of our country. Get those bad hombres out of our country. Get everyone the hell out of our country, and we'll never let them back. We closed our border to save the nation. We all love ICE and mass deportations. Send the illegals to a new location, and don't ever let them back. Feliz Deportado. Feliz Deportado. Feliz Deportado. Prospero viaje y no vuelvas. Muchas gracias, mi fellow Americanos. Feliz Deportado. And thank you for your attention to this matter.
So how'd you come up with that one? It's great.
You want to know? You want to know? Really?
I do want to know.
The origin story was we were actually at at dinner at a Mexican restaurant. And all of a sudden I went, I know what I must do. And people looked at me like, what? I said, Trump in the sombrero with the Make America Great Again Santa hat on. And instead of Feliz Navidad, Feliz Deportado. And wrote it like
Boom.
that. And it came out the way it came out. And so, for the last, since 2022, I have done a number of Christmas Carol spoofs. I had Hunter the White-Nosed Crackhead, which was, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to know Paul Pelosi might be gay. These are all funny things. So I did that. Walking in a MAGA Wonderland. I think I did that one a couple years ago. And I always do a rendition of The Night Before Christmas every year. And so I did that one this year too. But we had Feliz Deportado. We had Tis the Season to Deport 'em this year. Mass deportations was the theme. But I mean, there's some. My wife and I wrote Hunter the White-Nosed Crackhead in about 30 minutes. We were in our studio apartment in Babylon, Long Island, and we were like, Hunter. We started singing it, and the words just came out, and I was like, stop. We have to write this down. So always fun when that happens.
So you go to a restaurant and you're inspired.
I'm eating a gigantic burrito, by the way. This thing is massive. It looked like a football. I ate the whole thing.
Very good.
You
Okay,
know?
so what will happen if you ever went to a Somali restaurant?
Not good.
Yeah.
Probably
the,
not.
The food.
I wouldn't pay.
Yeah.
How's that for fraud? I pay with monopoly money.
You saw the soy boy mayor of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Who went
Jacob
to,
Frey.
Yeah. Who went to a Somali restaurant, and the food was not very good.
No.
But he chowed it down, and you could watch his face. Oh my goodness! I mean, he was trying to throw up, I think, but he couldn't.
Thrown up too.
Yeah.
Thrown up too.
But maybe what you ought to do, maybe you should just visit a Somali restaurant.
I don't know if that's a great idea.
You don't think so?
They might behead me. But if I walk in there with my pirate hat on as Trump and go, look at me, I'm the captain now. What do you have to say about that, bug people?
So you had another song. By the way, you might have a career as a musical performer.
No, we don't want that.
Parody songs?
Yeah, maybe Weird Al. I loved Weird Al.
Weird Al, yeah. You're
Growing
kind of
up,
a Weird Al thing.
That's what it is. That was probably the first time I'd ever heard like a song parody was Weird Al, and it was the American Pie spoof, but it was Star Wars. So instead of My Miss American Pie, is My this year Anakin guy, maybe Vader someday later. Now he's just a small fry. And I was like, that's really funny. And I've always been someone to like think of my favorite songs and then spoof them in my head. And so of course we have Christmas carols now, and it's just great. Every year I've done like 2 or 3.
Do you do?
I make like an album.
Do you actually do you do a comedy act?
Do I do like a
an
set?
Act, like a set?
Yeah, I mean, I have a quote unquote routine that I do. Generally, what I do, so when I go to like these events, for example, T-Bones in Politics or something like that, is I just tell my story of growing up in New York, and everyone in Tennessee always asks me, what brought you to Tennessee? And I say, New York brought me to Tennessee, and it elicits a laugh, warms up the crowd. But the whole way that the Trump impersonation kind of came to be and went viral in the first place was because I'd started a grassroots organization on Long Island, which we called the Loud Majority, not the Silent Majority. We had tens of thousands of people out, and we were actually knocking doors to get a candidate on the ballot in New York City, who she wound up flipping District 19 in Queens, Vicky Palladino. And but we were getting her on the ballot, and a friend of mine said, "You got to do that Trump. You do Trump so well, you got to do it on TikTok." And then I, he convinced me to go on TikTok, and I started doing little bits and spoofing Dr. Seuss, because they tried to cancel Dr. Seuss. So I said, what more would drive the left crazy if not only do we embrace Dr. Seuss, we embrace it in the voice of Trump. I will not eat green eggs and ham. I will not eat them Lindsey Graham. I will not eat them in South Carolina or with the virus that came from China. I will not eat them with Mitch McConnell or that horrible person, Rosie O'Donnell. I will not eat green eggs. So I did all that, Cat in the Hat, the whole thing, on TikTok. And so that's how it came to be. But that's to answer your question, because we're doing the weave now. It went way out. How do I do the routine is usually my story, and I mix in, my favorite bits that I've done over the years, and it usually works.
Could you do like a 40-minute set? Or
40 is
what do you do? 20 minutes?
I would say 30 to 40. I did an event in Ohio last year, and I'm going back this year to Warren County. In 25, I'm going back in 26, and I went on for about 30 minutes.
So I went to
and Vivek thought it was great.
I went to Nate Bargatze's show here in Nashville. He was really good. The guys who set him up were not very good, and I think we'll give old Nate a call and say, hey, give Sean a shot.
Hey, you know what? I'm always open to it. So.
But I think, or we might go, and if I were to organize an evening of comedy with Sean Farash. And you did like, we asked you to do like a 30-minute, 40-minute set.
30 to 40. 30 would work. I could do 30 easy.
You can do 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll do a 30-minute
And if it's good, if people are still going, I can roll. But like the bit I did in Ohio, the set I did in Ohio, and Vivek was supposed to come on after me, but then he had to leave because he had a prior engagement. He wound up staying through the whole
because you're
set.
so funny.
and then ran out of there after we took a picture. And I was like, why was Vivek? They go, he wouldn't want to leave. You were doing too well. So it was, I have to say I did a great job. I did a fantastic. And so I'll be back there this year with him and Anthony Munoz.
Yeah.
The former offensive lineman, Cincinnati Bengals.
For the Bengals, yeah. Well, so I think I think you'd do well as a
fun.
stand-up comedian. Let's see if we can work out. I have a couple of venues in mind.
Okay.
Zanies would probably not do it, the big comedy, because you're too, political.
Yeah.
And they can't stand. If you're a left-winger, they'll take
Well, we'll be up there. I'm going to a friend of mine's performing at Zanies on Sunday. Gerard Michaels. Yeah, he's politics. He's funny.
Let's take a look at this. So you did a song that the Trump team picked up.
Yep. Well, they took Feliz Deportado also and used a little bit of that audio on TikTok. But this "'Tis the Season to Deport 'Em," deck the halls. They use that on TikTok.
We've got that clip right now.
Yep.
Here we go.
'Tis the season to deport 'em, fa la 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 la. We love ICE and we support 'em, fa la 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 la. Send them on one-way vacations, fa la 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 la.
There you go.
That was a clip of the full thing on TikTok. What they did is, and Instagram too, is they had a compilation. That was one of the videos with the helicopter. There was another one on Instagram that they used of illegals getting arrested by ICE, like on the ground with the zip ties, and it was just that playing behind it. And I was like, I love that this White House is just leaning in. I don't care that they're using my audio. I mean, I do. It's awesome. But like, they're leaning into the mass deportations thing, and that's what we need to lean into. You want to fix the affordability crisis in this country. Get rid of the people who aren't supposed to be here.
I just sent off a clip that we'll play shortly. I'll set it up to tell you. It's very, very interesting. So, it has to do with Nick Shirley, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Shirley goes to, all these various businesses where they're supposedly doing childcare.
Right.
And there's no children there. There's no playground there. And so obviously there's some fraud going on.
Something's going on. Mickey Mouse was on the wall, but that was about it.
Yeah. And, but now all of these, quote, Somali business owners, apparently they're like rushing in children.
Yeah. Yeah. The Leering Center apparently just had an influx of kids yesterday.
Yeah.
Or something.
They just had an influx.
They were like, look there are kids here.
Yeah, sure.
They're the captain now.
Yeah, there you go. So now this guy, I think this is one of the people that Nick Shirley knocked on the door. So this Somali, guy looks like he's 20-something years old. He makes a claim because now people are going to be looking, where are your records? Right.
Right.
Listen to this. Do you have your...
Oh.
Yeah. Listen to this clip right now.
I got big ears. I'll probably be able to hear it, but that's all right.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, we saw that there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeted.
Okay, let's go right there.
Just please.
I mean, come on.
What?
So all of our records, somebody stole them in the past 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh, what do they? I understand that you've been bilking. I understand that you've been robbing the American people blind, and that you may think that a lot of us are stupid. But come on, man. What is that? That's a load of malarkey, man. That is just. I don't know what happened, but we also noticed that checkbooks were ripped. Oh, you noticed that? Oh, okay.
So, let me put a theory out here. They didn't have any records.
It's like I noticed that all of my guns mysteriously went missing in a boating accident. I don't know what happened to them.
How did that happen?
Where did you find that?
It was just it's there. I mean,
that's real. That's not like a bit.
No, it's not. It's not a bit.
It's a real.
When we come back, Sean Farash, the best Trump impersonator in the world. We'll talk about news potpourri.
Yes.
This is Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show in studio on this Trump Day, the final day. This is the final episode of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show in 2025 because when we come back on Monday, it'll be 2026.
That's right. Project 2026.
And Sean Farash here in studio. Sean, it's that time of day. Again, it's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about the stories of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, may have a touch of irony.
Irony, yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's a New York Times story. Irony there to begin with.
There it is.
Mamdani. This is by a New York Times reporter by the name of Maya King. Mamdani will be the first New York City mayor to use the Quran at his swearing in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me read the first 2 paragraphs by Maya King. When Zohran Mamdani is sworn in as mayor of New York City on January 1st, he will represent a range of demographics the city has not seen before in top leadership. South Asian, millennial, Muslim. But for New York's hundreds of thousands of Muslim residents who have taken pride in seeing one of their own rise to the mayoralty, his inauguration will bring another special first, rooted in tradition and piety.
How nice.
Nothing says tradition and piety like the Quran.
Like the Quran,
And
yeah.
Islamists.
Tradition. Well, that's one way to.
Yeah.
That's one way to say it.
How bad will New York City be under Zoran Mamdani?
There are things I wanted to say that we're gonna punt.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But do you keep thinking about that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's just we're gonna punt it downfield, play field position game right now. See what
Here
happens.
is a weird story. So, Barry Weiss, who's former New York Times opinion writer, made a lot of money with her free press deal.
Now she's in charge of CBS.
She's in charge of CBS News. She's
CBS
been
News,
a huge disappointment because, as you know, 60 Minutes, she canceled one deal. She's got to fix it, she said. But, she let this Erez Raveni character, who would basically, violated his oath to his client, the Department of Justice, and did not make the case for the deportation of Kilmar Braco Garcia. They did 13 minutes, 60 minutes on him. We've asked her, we want our 13 minutes. Barry.
Right.
When the phone didn't ring, we knew it was Barry Weiss. Now, and then she did this stupid, ridiculous interview with Erica Kirk. You saw that.
I did.
Where the last guy to ask Charlie a question came in and basically said, why don't you disavow Donald Trump, you bum?
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Stupid. Now, so George Clooney, we'll get to George Clooney. There's more than
I
one.
heard about something with George Clooney.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Well, let's start off with that before we
Yeah.
get to the Barry. So he's decided that he's now a citizen of France.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
How do you say bye in French? Bon voyage, right?
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Yeah. And
Bon voyage is
his
Italy?
wife is,
Or
a
Italy,
leftist activist attorney from Lebanon. And he claims, well, he's got dual citizenship now of France and the United States. And he claims France gives him a better privacy. Okay. So here is my take on this. Just let's eliminate and make dual citizenship illegal.
I think it's fine.
Right? Because if you can't have divided loyalties.
No, you can't.
And
especially in Congress, by the way.
Sure.
If you're serving in our government, you can't have dual citizenship.
Absolutely.
I think that's and I know that's a talking point of a lot of people that I don't necessarily like on the internet right now, but I think they're right on that. No dual citizenship for government officials.
So George Clooney has criticized Barry Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of saying, stick it where the sun don't shine, Mr. French citizen, Barry Weiss is basically, according to Citizen Free Press, the term they use, the technical term is, Barry Weiss sucks up to George Clooney cringe and has invited him to tour the studios. Well, that's just stupid. Barry, she's been an opinion writer. She went to Columbia.
Right. Oh.
She's largely
explains a lot.
We've got, do you know how much Prince William makes annually?
I don't, but I have a feeling when you tell me, I'm going to be mad about it.
He's now the all of the property of the Duchy of Cornwall. All that income goes to him. $30 million a year.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, now, for doing what though? For being a prince?
Sure. This was set up.
Does he do anything though? Like, does he contribute any value to society at all? Does he just exist?
All the royal family, they do stuff. They will go to public events, etc. This was set up in 1337.
But he doesn't provide a
by
service.
King Edward III. Yeah.
He just speaks at things.
He's going to be the next king of England. It would be hard to be. King Charles is basically an Islamist apologist. I'm sorry to say.
The royal family is like interbred, right, with the Romanovs, right? I think so. They were like Tsar Nicholas and all that.
They were cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rasputin was onto something with these people. I don't know.
Here's one. Miriam Adelson.
Yes.
Right? The widow of the big Sheldon Adelson. Here's the story. She will give another $250 million to Donald Trump's campaign if he decides to run again.
I heard about that. He's been joking about that for a while. Now she's saying it, so that's going to drive some people nuts. The right people nuts.
That storyline is going to live until the day J.D. Vance is nominated and accepts the nomination in the summer of 2028.
Yep, that story's going to live for a long time.
And for good reason.
And it's fun.
It's
fun.
a fun story.
Fun troll story. I even bought a Trump 2028 hat and posted a picture of me wearing it saying, "Look at my new liberal trolling apparatus." And the amount of liberals that came in, it was like, "You don't like the Constitution." I said, you didn't even read. Because I said I'm trolling you, and here you are. So every comment I put, you have successfully been trolled. Check mark.
Yeah, and by the way, the 2028 thing, J.D. Vance is the front runner. It's a little early.
It's early.
Let's wait. Let's get the midterms out of the way.
Yes.
Weird story. Jill Biden was married.
Oh, I heard about this too.
She was married before she basically, allegedly, left her husband under mysterious circumstances, divorced him, and married Joe Biden. The woman that he married, that her ex-husband married, was found dead in Delaware after a domestic dispute.
Interesting.
It's a weird story.
Interesting.
It's just weird.
Did she have a run-in with Hillary by chance? I'm just asking questions.
I don't know. Hey, another weird story. I'll get this in real quickly. A 19-year-old here in Middle Tennessee almost died from a disease called histoplasmosis. It's a fungal infection. I know about it because my dad almost died of it back in 1966.
Oh, no. Wow.
If you find it, if you're feeling like you got flu, go to the doctor right now. It's a fungal. If fluid fills up, it's easily treatable. But if you let it go for a while, not good.
Okay.
There you go. Your histoplasmosis alert.
I feel good when I run on my treadmill, so I don't think I got histoplasmosis.
All right. Sean Farash, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. We'll be back best of tomorrow and Friday. Back live on Monday, January 5th, 2026. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.